we don't fear you. You're only one person vis-a-vis 55 million of us. And I said, contrary to what he said, may I have no respect for you. Because you have no respect for human life. Why should we respect you? Just because you're the signatory of this nation? No. So for me, it stems from, this is one person. We are many people.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting and informative episode of Digital Dada Podcast. I'm your host, Cecilia Maundu. I'm a broadcast journalist, a digital security trainer. My work lies at the intersection of technology, human rights, and journalism. And today's episode is powerful. Our guest, she's young, she's fearless, but most importantly, she's using her platform to advocate for better governance. But before that, let me thank our sponsors, Tusker Light. Visit ke.thebar.com and grab a Tusker Light as you turn up the light. Excessive alcohol consumption is harmful to your health. Not for sale for persons under the age of 18 years. Karibu.
Ndio maana umevaa hiyo kala.
Yes, I'm going. Yes, everyone grab a Tusker Light. And excessive consumption of alcohol is harmful to your health. Not for sale for persons under the age of 18 years. So please introduce yourself, because you've been, like you're this young girl people are looking at and they're like, oh, who is this? As I was telling you, I learned about you on my platform. Anyone who is one term, there I am.
Oh my God.
Yes, and I'm not hiding. I was like, I want to know this young girl. And then before you know it, I'm seeing you on screens and I'm like, I need to interview her.
Wow.
Yes. So thank you for making the time. Karibu.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Well, I think introducing myself is normally the hardest part. I normally don't know where to start. But my name is Sophie here. I come from Kiambu County, Thika to be specific. I am a legal practitioner. I am also an active citizen, passionate about civic matters, social justice, good governance, just a country where we are free. So I'm also a mom of 2 kids. I am, what else can I say? I like having fun, contrary to what people see. But yeah, I hope I can contribute and be written in the books of history as someone who contributed to social change in this country.
You will definitely be there.
I hope so.
When history is talking about people, you're going to be there. That's for sure. You're challenging us. I know we are like them. I was reading a meme the other day and saying the people who are letting down this revolution are the millennials, Hangla dancers, fearful generation. So I feel like you people are the voice of change, But I just want to know, like, when did you decide, like, you know what? I need to speak up. I need to use my platform to say something about bad governance and demand for accountability.
Well, I have always known that eventually, some point in life, I will take a path in active politics. But I didn't know it would be this one. I was like, let me live my life. When I get to like 35, maybe I can consider participating in political work. But 2024 was like my wake-up call. I was like, I can't wait any longer. It's too much. The inspiration mainly came from seeing young people raising their voice. And I was like, why should I not put my voice into this as well? Coincidentally, at the same time, I had just gotten my daughter in 2023. So I was home, out of a failed marriage. I was a single mom of 2 kids. Life was really coming down on me. And here comes the finance bill that is addressing everything that is affecting my life. Diapers, pads, cooking oil, transportation costs, like everything that was affecting me as someone who's not leaving the house was being brought straight to my doorstep. And then they went like, KRA will be on your M-Pesas and your... So I was like, yani tule tu pesa kidogo twenye my parents are sending me or my auntie somewhere uko majuu ananihurumia ananitumia. Yani you want to come even for that kapesa kidogo? I was angry. And then at that same time, I was feeling like I was kind of depressed. So I was like, kama kutokelezea kwa maandamano, what's the worst that can happen? Kutiagasi watu. Then the protests were called. The first protest of 2024 was on my birthday, June 18th.
Yes, that's when.
So I was like, what better way to celebrate my birthday than be there? I mean, the conviction was just there. So I turned up. And after that, like, we were, at that time, people were making content about the finance bill. And I had a lot of time on my hands. So I was reading, I was interacting with this appropriation bill. And I was like, apana. Something is just not adding up. Kwanza hapo kwa diapers. Then nikikumbuka president akikampaign alikuwa anasema tutakuwa tunapewa diapers the first 3 months for free.
And you actually believed him?
I was pregnant at that time. So of course I was like, sitanunua diapers for 3 months. I wasn't supporting him, but I was like, juu umeingia, naweza kuwa tu na hiyo kaliweka 3 months, sitakuwa na diapers. So I'm like, first of all, you didn't fulfill that promise. Then you want to raise the price of these things. Then I don't have a job. Then, I just had nothing to lose. So that's when I actively began to participate in civic work and action towards social change. So the protest, 25th of June, I see people die. I see dead bodies, literally. It gets to me. It really, like, the next day, 26th of June, I remember I cried the whole day. I had a whole panic attack because I wasn't believing what I just saw. It was like a horror movie. So then now seeing my comrades die, hatujuani, but in the streets, you're all in this together. I mean, you've come out for this really beautiful thing. Seeing them die, I think then stamped my conviction. I was like, we cannot lose. Like Denzel. Denzel was an engineering student. He was so handsome, so brilliant. Rex was supposed to be going to outside of the country the next month, at least to try and build his life. I mean, you hear an 8-year-old has been shot 12 times. How can I not keep doing this? So that is when my conviction was really built up. But then also realizing that, hey, kuna a section of Kenyans, when ni kama they are not really moved by things that are happening in this country. Because you would hear some people say these protests are spoiling our jobs. Our businesses are not running on the days of the protests. And then I was like, guys, kwani we're living in different countries? I was like, there's no way I'm not doing this. So my fearlessness, I would say, stems mostly from seeing the dead bodies on 25th of June. I was like, what's the worst you can do to me? Just kill me, and you've killed before. So.
And everyone will die.
And everyone will die anyway. Like, unaweza tu unakula nyama unyongwe kufe. So
you can even sleep and not wake up.
And not wake up.
So let's talk about you using your platform and then going through what we call tech-facilitated gender-based violence. Like people who support this regime. And I have never understood why you would support something like this. But anyway, we have like the liberty of deciding what. So being attacked by the so-called bloggers, how has been your experience?
I think first of all, when you have a level of clarity of what you want in this life, everything else is a sideshow. You see, even in the Bible, you're told, keep your eyes on the things above. Focus on the prize. Like, once your eyes are solely on the prize, I don't think anything can deter you from that. So for me, I have a long face, so I get body shamed for my face. But the good thing is, even if you bash me for my face, I'd like to have a competition on our brains. You put your brain here, I put my brain here. We see whose brain matter is bigger. Like, nakuwa so confident with myself. I don't think they get to me. But what really gets to me is, like you have said, seeing people who are so myopic that you would attack someone who's fighting for you. Literally, at the end of the day, if change comes to Kenya, it won't be for me, it won't be for you, Cecilia, it will be for the whole country.
Exactly.
So one way or another, you're a beneficiary. So how low can you stoop to want to attack someone, first of all, you don't know me, I don't know you. Second of all, it's my platform. So if you want to use your platform to advocate for this regime, still use it. Like, you don't, there are literally 50 or 60 billion people online. You can literally interact with any other person's content and not ours. But it also gives me a level of comfort knowing that this regime has actually invested in bots. Like, these guys are paid to do that. So for them not to go hungry, you have to be bottom barrel. Like, you have to choose the pits for you to have something on your table. And that's why also it's important as young people for us to really try and get something to do with our lives, because then you have a choice of what you can do and what you can do. But here, unangoja hiyo 527 for survival. So you have to actually go as bad as it is. But online bashing, I think once you know what you want, then nothing else can actually deter you from your goal. Yeah.
So another thing that I would want to ask is in terms of still using your platform, advocating for good governance, right? I mean, you're an individual talking for maybe 50 million Kenyans. What would be one advice that you'd give also someone else who really wants to do the same? You understand? Because not everyone has your guts. Sometimes I found myself making a comment on a post and I'm like, oh God,
what did I just say?
What did I do?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, like they cannot be. They don't get anyone who has stolen billions of money, but they can find you anywhere if you say something that does not work with them. So I find myself asking, oh my goodness, what if the same way? What would you give that advice, especially for people like you, the chance?
I'm thinking, once you have seen your future, nothing can stop you. So you have to understand, what does the future look like? What does your advocacy at the end of the day push for? Thomas Sankara said one thing. He said, to achieve social change, you need a certain level of madness. So you can't be totally sane if you want to bring about change. So if you feel like writing something, write it. Like today morning, I made a post and I said, the same way Senator Medhu said yesterday, we don't fear you. You're only one person vis-a-vis 55 million of us. And I said, contrary to what he said, may I have no respect for you. Because you have no respect for human life. Why should we respect you? Just because you're the signatory of this nation? No. So for me, it stems from, this is one person. We are many people. For instance, today, if they were to like abduct me, we won't be silent. People have been abducted before. I mean, when Bob and Nicholas disappeared in Uganda, it was a hard time because there was a lot going on at that time. So Bob and Nicholas's story would have just gone under the water because everybody was busy, everybody was distracted. But pushing for them to be released, I was asking myself, like, that could easily be me. So you're silent, uko like kufikia bado. But one day, you don't know when and how. There's a young man who was murdered in Thika, where I come from. So the cops just go to their home, the apartment they're living in, and they go upstairs. So downstairs, apparently, there are guys who peddle drugs. So they go downstairs, they don't find those guys. So they go upstairs. Going upstairs, they knock the door. These guys fail to open. So the cops break into the house. They ransack the house. They beat these guys up so bad. So the one who died, his name was Dek. Dek akapanda upstairs to the 5th floor. And it was like the topmost part of the apartment. So kuna tank suko. So he's running, he's calling his roommate. Namwambia, guy, the cops are here na wanatupiga. I don't know what's happening. The cops beat him so bad, and when they realized that he's going, they threw him off the 5th floor.
So he actually didn't jump?
He didn't jump. Because the postmortem actually said it was blunt force trauma that caused his death. So when I was speaking to Dek's family at that time, And me talking about this is also me trying to still raise awareness about what happened to him. I asked his auntie, did you ever think, as you were listening to the news and everything that's happening in the country, did you ever think you would ever find yourself in this position? She was like, no. I never for one time dreamt that this situation would be mine and my family's. So for her, it was a mental note for you're quiet when other people are going through something, but you don't know when it's going to knock at your door. So my advice to people and their platforms, start. If you feel the conviction, it is inside of you. Speak out. Because not speaking out is also supporting the oppressor. So Dex family did not know one day it would be them. You don't know one day it could be you. So the more you speak out, the more we add our voices into this, the more we silence the oppressor. But the oppressor thrives on our silence. He thrives on our fear. And that's why there's one girl, she really inspires me so much. She's my friend, she's called Wanjira. She said, if we lose our fear, they lose their power. So they thrive on our fear. So once we lose that fear, they lose their power, And that's the only way the oppressor thrives. If we all woke up, because I'm thinking in the next 2 weeks, we might wake up, there will be no fuel in Kenya, and the fuel that will be there will be contaminated. If we all decide we can't be going through this, this is our country. Mnataka twende wapi? Like, I'm not at Rwandese. I'm not an Ethiopian. Even if I go there, that won't be home. This is our home. So we have to ensure that our home is safeguarded, if not for ourselves, then for posterity. What will our children find? A country where, because you don't support the regime, you're seated in a hotel, you're having tea with your friend, and the goons come and they beat you up in public, and you're a whole elected individual. So if elected leaders are not safe, what makes you think us, the citizens, we're safe? So we have to speak, and our voices are power, Cecilia.
And you remember that hashtag, Siri in numbers?
Yes.
It's true. The more we speak up, the more our voices will be heard.
Exactly.
So from your perspective, what are the biggest governance challenges today? Well, there are many. Just choose one.
I think the one that beats all of them is political goodwill. I was reading about Mozambique and Namibia. They're the latest countries in Africa to be debt-free. For instance, the story of Namibia, when they took their IMF Eurobond, immediately they started saving up for when they were going to come and pay it back. So this money, for instance, was picked. Let's use an example of Kenya. So Uhuruto government picks a Eurobond, and Uhuruto government immediately starts saving up for the Eurobond, right? But the person who actually pays up the debt is the Ruto regime. That's what happened in Namibia. So the regime was the previous regime. They took the money, they started saving up in their sovereign fund. And when the next regime came in, they had like $400 and something million saved up. So when this new president, actually she's a woman, she came in, she said, okay, we have a deficit of like $300 million. We can borrow $300 million domestically and pay off this debt. We remain with our domestic debt, but we're external debt free. Mozambique, the same. So Kenya, and this is a question I'm asking you, do you think we have that goodwill for unaingia unapata pesa mahali $400 million na hauziguzi?
If the 500 million that was found the other day in the house of those the fuel scandal disappeared in a police station, so I think
you get, like, our biggest problem is nothing else but political goodwill. You know there is a crisis coming. Like, you saw the war starting. You knew we depend on these people for oil. As a leader with political goodwill, countries like I've forgotten, but they were reducing the VAT on the fuel. They were actually subsidizing. They were actually buying more fuel at that time before Strait of Hormuz was closed. So here in Kenya, it's actually an opportunity for corruption. Sawa, still, why bring contaminated fuel? Why are you trickling this down? Let's go to the county of Nairobi. The county is flooding. You see 48 people dead in one night. ukitembea tao sahii bado drainage zimejaa, bado takataka iko kila mahali, right? But county officials are spending around 50 million traveling and benchmarking for marketing and PR. That's what they're using our money for, instead of directing that money, because who says it won't rain again? It's definitely gonna rain again. But we're seated here because it's not raining. We might as well wait for more people to die. Like the goodwill is everything. So I don't know what measure we will use to select our next leaders and what measure we will use to measure goodwill. I wonder. But our next crop of leaders have to be people with goodwill and willingness to serve, not yourself, to serve the community. Because I don't understand. Let's say you have money, I have money. Today I want to open a business and I'm short of 1 million. I come and ask you still and say, dear, 1 million, ndakurudisha in 1 month. Unajua niko na pesa na wewe uko na pesa. Si utanipea comfortably.
Yeah.
But sahi, huna pesa, sina pesa. Ile kidogo uko nayo, I come and ask you, give me 1 million, utanipea?
No.
Because you're asking, utanirudishia aje? So we have to build a culture where if we all thrive, everything is good. But if you just want to thrive, you and your family,
it doesn't work. And I think we don't know the value of good leaders because I don't think we've had any.
Have
Sorry
we
to
ever?
say, I don't think so. Because if we had good leaders, they create good policies. The benefit would trickle down to each and everyone. Yeah. And as you're saying, like those government bots or whatever they are, when they're paid, sometimes ninja too wako nayo. So they're trying to just trying to make a living.
But we were having a conversation with someone and they were like, when Kibaki introduced free education, I think it trickled down to everybody.
It did.
Because the money you would be paying for fees, you're doing with it something else, Like I'm saying that just to stamp what you've said, for it trickles down.
Yes, that's for sure. So going back to my earlier point, do you think women are targeted differently than men when they are vocal about political issues?
But of course. Of course, because you're more vulnerable, first of all. And we live in a very patriarchal society.
And I keep saying a patriarchal society is an extremely violent society.
It is.
Yes.
Because, for instance, last year during the protest, when we were commemorating June 25th, so many women were raped during the protest. Yeah. So a patriarchal society is what really makes the violence on women extreme. Because when they look at you, they're like, so you're talking alafu? When in any way should you be talking? Kazi yako ni kunyonyesha watoto, kubeba watoto, kukua kwa kitchen ukitupikia. Same thing as is happening even in our political parties today. Women are for serving men tea and for being sent when men are having the serious discussions.
And if there's a word I hate, it is flower girl.
Yeah, we're flower girls.
It makes me feel like in 2026.
Imagine.
We're talking about such things.
And you see, what really hurts is other countries are going ahead. Like this time that we are wasting, there are countries that are progressing. For example, Namibia, the president, the deputy president, the speaker, women. Half of the cabinet is women. We really have to change. And I think the change will start by having more women in positions of power who are going to influence how our Kenyan society perceives women. If we can do that, then I think momentarily we can bring a change. Yeah.
What pairs well with a light brew? Heavy conversations, of course. Visit ke.thebar.com and grab a Tusker Light to turn up the light as you listen to your fave podcast. Excessive alcohol consumption is harmful to your health. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years. Okay, and do you think platforms do enough to protect women? I mean, for someone like you who has, a big online presence, do you feel like the platforms do enough, and what can be done about it?
I really don't think they do enough because as For instance, I recently just lost my Twitter page. Like when we started the Tukokadi campaign, I lost my Twitter page. And now I had to start from scratch.
Did you try and report and, try to recover your account?
Everything.
Oh my
but
gosh.
the bots, like I'm telling you, if they rally enough people to report your account and because me, I'm of course vocal and anti-government, I lost my account. And I think we have been having this conversation as Gen Zs for how can we start our own social media platform. Because all these platforms are not owned by African countries.
I like that.
So they do not do anything to protect us. Them, they're interested with their money, the one they get from ads and insights. And so
their first loyalty is to the advertisers.
Exactly.
Yes.
And to themselves from the money they are making out of you spending your time there. Yeah.
So what do you do to protect yourself digitally?
Absolutely nothing. Because the first days, I used to try have a VPN, not use Safaricom. Then I realized it's exhausting. And I just want to be free. Like the constant push for myself to want to secure myself. I'm like, someone was just outside selling fish and the bullet got them. Someone was just in the house, a child was watching TV and the bullet got them. So I just sat with myself and I said, hey, if they really wanted to find me, they most definitely will find me. I buy tokens so they know where I live. I move around. I use public means of transport. I do. It's not like I'm closed somewhere. So if they really want to find me, they just come and find me. Me, I'm not going to go through that because will I think about making money or how I'm protecting myself and my Twitter page and my TikTok from not being found? No. So I don't do anything still. I got tired.
I think the only thing I would say, just get a VPN because it just operates in the background. Please get a VPN. Do two-factor authentication. Like those things which you do once and you forget.
Yeah.
Get two-factor authentication and just make sure your password is extremely strong and nothing to do with one term or two term because it can.
I think you should be my friend. I heard you say something about tech security,
yes.
So I'll keep you close this
yes.
one.
That one I will. Anytime just send me a text. I'll tell you what to do. But
okay.
You have to try and embrace some of your because you see now like that account that you lost. You always feel like yes you can start again, but you feel like oh no. So it's just important to take those measures. And most of the time when you do it once, the only thing I would say is just try and keep changing your password and make it very, very strong, and then operate your account on your own.
Okay.
I know someone like you, maybe you have somebody who does your social media. No, just do it. I always say someone like you just to be safe, do it for yourself.
Okay.
That's important.
That's good advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what needs to change to protect women online, especially women like you, women with voices? What needs to change?
I feel like we first have to start by building a community.
Yeah.
Because
cyber communities.
The more we are, the stronger we look. The perception is everything. So if we have an interconnected community of people who share ideologies and who share the same goal and the same vision of wanting a better nation, I think that would be a good place to start because then we are able to talk and exchange ideas and see better ways of advocacy that don't necessarily make us target. And also pushing for other than ourselves having our own communities, but to also bring the people with us.
Okay.
Because once you have the people behind you, nothing can, they can't do anything to you if you have the masses. So it's to keep being the voice of the people. The more you speak for people, the more they trust you, the more they want better for you. Because the platforms are out of our control.
That's for sure.
So the more we build within ourselves and keep together, I think that will do us a lot of good.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying earlier. When the platform is not owned by, you have very little say about it. Yeah. So how can someone start using their voice responsibly and safely online?
The word responsible is a big word because, now when you have a government that has no respect for dissent and criticism, then responsibly can be a wishy-washy word. Because if I come out and say, like, I think I lost my Twitter page because I told Weta he can't have people arrested for telling him one term, and it's the truth. You see, so if you like, for me, I'm sitting here wondering what is responsibly, because I can be extremely rogue on my socials. But now with this new Twitter page that I have, I'm trying to kind of keep my thoughts in my head and try to regulate my words and not really say everything that I'm thinking on my socials, because it might not augur well with people, and people have found a way to make you lose your intellectual property, because I've literally lost everything I've ever written since 2020. That's intellectual property. So now responsibly would come from probably not be vulgar, not attack people personally. So my new lesson is not use people's words like their actual names, but to maybe refer to the positions that they hold, so that you're not told that you're defaming this person. And also to choose to maintain a certain level of consistency. If you are for the government, stay for the government. If you are anti-government, don't give mixed reactions. Today you're saying good. No, just keep your path. If this, you see, when I told you clarity is everything. If you're clear, this is your path, take it and take it head on. And also doing a lot of research, because if you really want to be credible and you want to be a thought leader, because I view myself as a thought leader, you have to be a serious researcher. That means you have to read, you have to sacrifice your sleep and your social life to actually be an informed person. So responsibly would come from just make sure you're saying facts and not misinformation and not something that can be used against you.
Now you bring up a very interesting point: misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. How do you counter that?
Like now with the Tukokadi campaign, we are struggling to disseminate the propaganda of Tukokadi as a Kikuyu-led initiative, and it's a modern young people's initiative, and it's strictly just for young people. No. We are a tribeless community. We are the same community that came out to the street and said we do not want bad governance, we don't want corruption, we do not want the opulence and the wastage. We are the same community. So I think first the consistency, because now we are battling with that. We are like, how do we show the masses that, hey, we are not here just because one leader who's a bit tribal hopped onto the campaign doesn't mean that's our identity. So we are now sitting and asking ourselves, why did we start doing this, first of all? What have we learned so far? And how can we make this campaign better? And because we are a team, then we're able to exchange ideas. So what you know is not what I know, Cecilia. And what I know is not what you know. So if we have these conversations over and over again, we're able to disseminate misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, because all of them fall under propaganda. But it's also nice if you also have your own propaganda.
I interviewed someone the other day and there's like, oh, when they say this, we also give them something else.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Anyway.
That's exactly what I mean. If they have theirs, even us, we have our own propaganda team.
I'm like, what? So to my last question, how do you feel like the digital platform is powerful enough to hold leaders accountable?
It's most definitely powerful enough. I resonate so much with Wangari Maathai, and I always think about her journey and her form of organizing, because she was actually doing grassroots organization. So I was thinking to myself, she lives in Nairobi, she's organizing women in Nyeri, Karatina, Eldoret. So how did she used to ensure that she keeps all these people together within the cause? For instance, with this Tukokadi campaign as well, we want to reach out to the whole country. So the digital platforms are actually helping us so much, because with every chapter, we have a WhatsApp group for that chapter. So other than rallying people kuchukua kura, we also want to do civic and political education. So you see, with these WhatsApp groups, we're able to meet the grassroots people, for example, of tuseme we've already done Kasarani chapter. So the people who most likely come out to organize people are people with political ambitions, right? So the leader of that group will bring people together. Then us, because we have experts, we have legal experts, we have constitutional law experts, we bring these people together where we work together. Now sa tunaenda Kasarani, tunakalisha watu chini, tunawafundisha, this is how to hold your leader accountable. And this is the power the Constitution gives you. For example, a devolved government. You can have your own community scorecards. These guys have a project in your area. For example, ni barabara ama ni hospitali. You have a scorecard. Mnaenda mnaangalia kwa website ya county. You see, this project was allocated 20 million. Mnaenda na scorecard. Mnaangalia, hizi windows inakaza 20 million. Easy tells in a casa 20 million, you do your scorecard and you present that as a petition to the county government. So you see, the digital platforms are actually enabling us to build communities and to better our grassroots organizing. So that we disseminate this information to remind you, the citizen, hey, these people work for you. You don't work for them. You can hold them accountable.
Yes.
You can recall them. You can recall your MCA. You can push your MP to actually put a motion in parliament that allows for recalls. We can push our leaders to actually do better. So the power actually really lies with us. It's just that we don't have that information. So we are trying to use digital platforms to better our organizing, to pass down the information. As we approach the election period, we'll use the same digital platforms to reach out to people like, hey, amka uende ukapige kura. Uko kwa line, niko na maji yako, kuja tupige kura. Then we will have our own network of agents where we are having conversations. Mko kwa polling station, nini nafanyika? Hivi ndio kumeenda. Mpaka sai, these are the numbers. You see, that will help us to tally. That will help us to see where the malpractice is happening. So digital platforms, I think, are so powerful if you can use them for the right thing.
You know, there's a book I read and the author said there's no better time to be alive than now.
Yeah.
You know, because of the internet. Like it's doing wonders, because I was imagining if the things that are happening right now in terms of governance, if they were happening like like 15 years back, there are so many things we would not know. And
Kai, I thought about that. When I had the oil scandal,
yes,
I was like, if we didn't have the media and social media, all these things would just be passing us. Atungejua 1.3 trillion, atungejua 6 billion, atungejua 2.9 billion, atungejua kitu. We are blessed.
Yeah, we are blessed. And it's good now we are taking advantage of what is happening.
Yeah.
So what gives you hope right now?
That it has been done before. That we are not talking about another country. Kenya had a dictatorship, even worse than the one we have today. People elected leaders would be in helicopters and they would die. Matiba was made a cabbage. Like, we had a dictatorship before, but we saw a position where the entire country got tired. They rallied behind a cause and they took the dictator home. And the dictator did not refuse to go. He actually handed over power. So that actually really gives me so much hope that we have done it before. And we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It did not take, it didn't take 20 candidates on the ballot to take Moi home. It took people to all sit down and realize, we have the same goal. Moi must go. We have to all be in the same camp to take this guy home. So we are not going to wait and do the same mistakes that we did. We shall all galvanize towards the same cause. Ruto must go is a national priority. We will galvanize towards that. We will wake up and we will take him home. And even he himself, he won't believe it. That gives me hope. The second thing that gives me hope is seeing the light on my children's eyes. I look at them and I'm like, am I going to risk you going through the same exact thing I've gone through? I convince you, uende shule, upite shule, ukuje, so I have to become such a big shot ndio nikupeleke majuu. Na hata ukirudi Kenya bado utakosa kazi, bado no. Like I can't imagine sitting there with my son and he's asking me, so what did you do about it? Nothing. You didn't do anything about it. My friends are dying, my friends are poor. You didn't do anything about it. I don't want that. So that really gives me hope for like when the time comes and he's grown enough, because in 5 years time I'll be parenting a teenager. So he'll be grown enough to ask me, what did you do? So now even when we're not spending a lot of time together, I'm sure 5 years from now, I'll be able to tell him these are the fruits of the sacrifices that I made of not staying and being a stay-at-home mom with you. Yes. This is what you're benefiting. And not only you, the entire country. Imagine we have such a beautiful country. Yes. We have resources. We have good weather. You've traveled to Cecilia. Yes. Other countries have such pathetic weather. Unaulizanga utarudi home siku gani. We have beautiful, friendly people, hardworking people. We have everything we need to thrive. We just have to change one thing, our political class. And that's it. Life changes. So that gives me so much hope that Kenyans can live a dignified life. And I also think the Constitution gives me hope.
One of the best.
One of the best.
If only we can be able to implement
it. As is. We don't even change a full stop. We try implement it as is. I think Kenya can change.
Sophie, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you so
much. I began the episode, you're fearless. You have put your voice there. And as I said, the next generation will definitely thank you. And us who came before you, we are thanking you in the process.
I hope you're behind us.
Yeah. Oh my God. What are you saying?
I hope we are showing you that.
Yes.
It's nothing would have happened to you if you spoke up 5 years ago.
By the way, it's true.
Or 10 years ago.
But we always say like there's a season and a time for everything.
Yes.
Now, it's your season.
Yeah.
Like we are there, like we are championing, we are shouting at the top of our voices, like we are rooting for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I hope team Digital Dada wako kadi.
Yes. Hey, I hope wako kadi. Na mwenye yuko kadi, including the members of this studio. We are out.
Yes. Waende uchukue kadi. Na ni kuchukua na kupiga kura na kulinda hiyo kura.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. We're not leaving anything to chance this time around.
So before, I don't think I have anything to add. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode. As I say, today's episode was made possible by Tusker Light. Visit ke.thebar.com and grab a Tusker Light as you turn up the light. Excessive alcohol consumption is harmful to your health. Not for sale for persons under the age of 18 years. See you in the next episode.